Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover, and I like to watch a lot of movies and I like to read a lot of books. So I have a YouTube channel to where I talk about the books and the movies that I watch and the books that I read. And in these videos, I'm talking about my top 100 favorite books. Now, I've already put that together starting January 1st. Every single day, I'm going to release a new video. I've already filmed them and I've got 10 videos talking about my top favorite 100 books. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the honorable mentions. These are the books that I think that are great, but they just wouldn't fit on the list. And I've got some great books I'm going to talk about here, so let's talk about them. Hello, everybody. This is the honorable mentions. These are the books that just wouldn't fit on the list of the top 100s. I have 12 books here, and a lot of these books are great. And actually, maybe later on, I might actually move these. One of these is a book that I recently read, and the reason why it's not on the list of my top 100 is because I recently read it. So, we're going to talk about them. Before I get into these books, I want to thank everybody for being here. You're really wonderful for stopping by. Thank you so much. You mean a lot to me. Okay, let's start off with number 12. Now, number 12 was written in 1985 by Beverly Cleary, and this is The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Now, this is a children's book, but this is a wonderful children's book. This is a story about a mouse that gets a toy motorcycle, and the boy lets him use it. The thing about it is the way the mouse uses this motorcycle is pretty cool. The way he powers this motorcycle is making the sound, and I think that idea is really great. I think the book is great. He goes on an adventure, and the family members of the mouse and the mouse, Ralph, I believe his name, Ralph S. Ralph S. Mouse is the mouse's name, and I think he was a wonderful character, and his family is a very interesting family. He's got, especially his uncle. But The Mouse and the Motorcycle is a children's book that I definitely recommend. Okay, number 11 is not for children. This one's a little bit more serious. This was written in 1886. This was written by Leo Tolstoy, and this is The Death of Ivan Ilyich. And this is a story about a man that put a wonderful house together, and everybody's living off this person, and then he has an accident and he's slowly dying. And this is a story of where the family are just living, trying to live their lives with him dying, and they really don't care. And it's a very sad book. As a matter of fact, this book brought me to tears at the end of this book. And I thought this was great. This was my introduction to Leo Tolstoy, and I thought this was great. The Death of Ivan Ilyich is a book I recommend, although be prepared, it is a sad book. Okay, the next book is Action and Adventure. This is from 2008, and this was written by Susan Collins. And this is the first in a series of 3 that I know of. There might be more books after this, but The Hunger Games. And I really enjoyed this book. This is a story where there's a society to where they have a lottery, and you get chosen. If you get chosen in the lottery, you've got to go to this like televised event, and you got to fight to the death. And this was wonderful, man. The main character, Katniss, was a fantastic character, very interesting. She's an amazing archer, and I really enjoyed this story. It was enjoyable, and I liked it a lot. I highly recommend it. There's movies about this, and there's other books. I haven't read the other books yet, but I plan on doing that pretty soon. The Hunger Games is number 10. Next up is number 9, and number 9 is written in 1954 by C.S. Lewis, and this is a children's book. This is called A Horse and His Boy, and this is the 3rd book in the Chronicle of Narnia, and this is a story of a boy and a talking horse, and they have a bunch of adventures in Narnia. This was a very entertaining book, and I really enjoyed this book a lot. It's not my favorite book of the Narnia series, but this was a good one. I enjoyed this. This is my third favorite. That is number 9. Now, number 8 is written in 1955 by C.S. Lewis, and this is The Magician's Nephew. Now, I enjoyed this more than The Horse and His Boy, and this is like the origin story and how everything starts. And he wrote this later, but they put this first. This is like the first story in the series, and it's wonderful. I mean, there's these two kids that find this, I think, a ring, and they go to this other world, and they actually meet a witch that they bring into the real world. And the uncle is a very interesting character. And as a matter of fact, one of my favorite lines of this book is the very last line. That was one fine woman, because he actually falls for the witch in this story. And it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, the next one up is number 7. And this is from 1995, and this is a sequel by Michael Crichton of The Lost World of Jurassic Park. And this was the second story of Jurassic Park, and the book and the movie are quite different from each other. And I really love it when we have a movie and we have a book and they're different from each other. And I love pointing out the differences. And this the book is fantastic. I actually like it more than the second Jurassic Park movie. There's a lot of cool things in this story that I really, really enjoyed. It was a good time. I really had a good time reading this book. And of course, I really love Jurassic Park. That is on the list as well. But yeah, Jurassic Park: The Lost World is a great book as well. Especially Sarah's story. Sarah's story is quite different, and it's really interesting. I love it. But that is number 7, The Lost World, Jurassic Park. I highly recommend it. Okay, number 6 is a book from 1968. This is a sci-fi novel written by Pierre Boulle. And this is The Planet of the Apes. And I recently watched this movie, but I read this book. Now, this book is a book that actually will go in my top 100 favorites. But the reason is that I recently just read this. So I already put the list together. So I didn't feel like finding a spot to put this. But this was a fantastic book. This is better than an honorable mention. This is like one of my top 100 right here. And I really enjoyed it. And if you're familiar with the movie, it's a lot like the movie. There's some differences. The biggest difference is that everybody's naked. All the human beings can't wear any clothing at all. But in the movie, they get to wear clothing, you know. And there's a lot of things that happen in the movie that happen in the book, and vice versa. And it's a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. It's very short, but very enjoyable. And it's got a pretty cool ending. I like the ending. It's not as good, although to tell you the truth, it's not as good as the ending of the movie of Planet of the Apes. I love that ending when he sees the Statue of Liberty and you damned us all to hell. I loved it. But yeah, Planet of the Apes is a great experience. So that is number 6. Now we're going to go to number 5. This is a book written in 1970 by E.B. White. This is a person that wrote Charlotte's Web, which is one of my favorite books, but this is The Trumpet of the Swan. And this is a story about a trumpet that can't trumpet, so he meets a human being, befriends a human being, and learns that he could trumpet with a trumpet. And he actually winds up breaking into a music store to get this trumpet, gets in trouble, and they kind of fix things. And this was a really wonderful story. I loved it. It was a very enjoyable story between a friendship of a boy and this trumpet, and this swan. This swan is a very cool swan, and this boy is pretty cool. Actually, this is interesting because the swan actually goes to school, and it's very interesting. I liked it. But that is number 5, The Trumpet of the Swan. Now, number 4 is a book written in 1932. That might not be accurate, but it's written around 1932. This was written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and this is from a series of books of Little House on the Prairie, but this is the first in the series. This is Little House in the Big Woods, and this is just a story of how they go to Wisconsin and they build a house, and it's just the trials and tribulations they have being a family that's living in the wild. And there's some stories to where they deal with animals in this that are really great. This was a really good introduction to Little House on the Prairies. I really enjoyed this a lot. This was a great one. I did like Little House on the Prairie a little bit more. I still have more books to read in the series, but this was a wonderful book. Little House in the Big Woods is a fantastic book. And I got to say that Laura Ingalls Wilder is a fantastic author. I mean, this is all real life experiences, and she did a great job, like keeping track of what happened in her life, and it was very interesting. And I really enjoyed it. So that is number 4. Now, number 3 is a children's novel, a little bit advanced children's novel. It's not like a short children's novel, but this was from 1908. This was written by Kenneth Grahame, and this is Wind in the Willows. And yeah, this is a story about a mole that's just having a day, and then he meets a rat that kind of takes him on adventures. And on their adventures, they meet this character called Toad, and he is a very interesting character. He is fascinated with cars, and he winds up driving a car, and he's a great character. Toad was a wonderful character. Plus, there are some interesting characters. The Badger's a pretty cool character, and it's pretty cool. I have a like I think the original artwork in it, but the book I have has some amazing artwork in it as well. But The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame is number 3, and I highly recommend it. Okay, now this is number 2. This is written in 1962. This was written by Truman Capote, and this is Breakfast at Tiffany's. Now, this is another book that actually will go in the top 100s. This is a fantastic book. I was engrossed with this book the whole time I was reading it. I just forgot to add it on my list. When I was looking at my list, I realized this was not there. And I really think that this book should be in my top 100 because I really enjoyed this book a lot. It was really enjoyable. Holly Hunt, Holly Golightly, I forgot her name is, but the main character of Holly is an amazing character. I love the movie. The movie is great as well, and I really enjoyed the book. The book was fantastic. It actually came with some short stories that were wonderful as well. Truman Capote is an amazing author, and I look forward to reading more of his books. And I highly recommend that you check out Breakfast at Tiffany's if you haven't read it. Okay, the next one on the list is from 1997. This is in the range of a children's book, but adults could read this and enjoy this as well. This was written by J.K. Rowling. This is one of the best-selling books of all time, and this is the introduction to Harry Potter. This is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and this was a wonderful story. I really enjoyed it. I remember when I first picked it up and started reading it, I really thought this was an overhyped book because it was already popular when I started reading it. And I was amazed in how the story just grabbed me about his aunt and uncle had him under the stairs and the way they were treating him. And then the magicians come and they take him and he finds out he's a wizard. And there's so many details in this book that are really cool. You know, I love the friendship between Ron and Hermione. And it's just a really cool book, man. I really love this one a lot. And also, I've read a couple other books in the series that I really enjoyed. I've actually read 4 of them. Um, my favorite isn't the what is it? The Goblet of Fire. The Goblet of Fire is not my favorite, but the other books are amazing. You know, The Prisoner Actaban, that was really great. I forgot the name of the second one, but yes, that was a good book too. The with the car gets struck in the whipping tree, that was really cool. And I love Voldemort as a villain. He's a great villain. I love these stories, and I like the movies as well. And that's it. So, coming January, I've got 10 videos coming talking about my top 100 favorite books. Now, the thing about it is that the order of the books are not in perfect order. I'd actually remade the list again and I changed the order around a little bit. And actually, to tell you the truth, I could do the list again and come up with a better order of the way that I like these books. The funny thing about it, when the way that I do this, I make the list, and then after I make the list, I read the order that I have it, and then I'll like I seen Dracula, and that was number 40, and I was like, no, wait, Dracula's got to go higher, and I did that with a bunch of other books, and I raised them higher. And when you raise all these books higher, all of a sudden, when you get to Treasure Island, that was at 20, now it's at 40, and it's like, no, Island has to be high because I love Treasure Island. But yeah, it's still the same 100 books. Those are my top 100 favorite books, and I think I got a pretty good list together. A lot of these books, if you gave them a chance, you're going to love them as well. Okay, so that's the video. I want to thank everybody for coming by. If you can, hit the like button. Though that's amazing if you do that. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Anybody who wants to say hello, come by and say hello. I'm all ears. And if you haven't subscribed and you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. I make new content all the time, and I'm always trying to improve my videos. So I'm working on it all the time to get better. And I really like doing this, so I'm going to be doing this for a while. So I'm Peter the Book Lover. I want to thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next video.